This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down. Jason Witten is in the end zone. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Taylor Stern.
Welcome, everybody, here into the SWBC Mortgage Studio. We are excited. After 1 week of OTAs, we have more to talk about here. Of course, we have to recap OTAs, what happened, what you should know. Of course, we've definitely got Rob's Twitter poll coming up in the third segment. So if you haven't voted, you need to vote. Mickey, you voted?
I did. I swung the percentages. Great.
Yes.
If Mickey voted, you guys better get there. Go to our Twitter account at Talkin Cowboys. And of course, we have owners' meetings to review. And then looking ahead to OTA's week number 2. So we're in it. We're ready to win. We have officially 100 days until the NFL season today. Not necessarily the Cowboy season, but until the NFL season starts.
It's 100 exactly.
100.
Wow.
100 for
So
the Cowboys.
Thursday night opener or the Cowboys opener?
Thursday night opener. On Thursday will be 100 for the Cowboys. So.
And it feels like 2 days till training camp. We're going to wake up tomorrow, and it's going to be time to get on that plane.
2 months.
Yeah. Well, yeah, roughly. Right?
You excited about this training camp?
7 weeks, absolutely.
Are you?
We should
Yes.
be.
You enjoy all that,
Because
don't
it's
you?
already 100 degrees out
Yes,
here? That's
exactly.
right. Yeah.
Do you not
we can
remember?
start
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Mickey's minutes at training camp were hard to come by because he was so happy out there.
I know.
Yeah, he
I
was.
know.
Yeah.
He
I'm
was.
gonna bring those back.
Well,
Because I didn't have to read the darn paper every morning.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Life just goes by a little slower out in
For a
California.
newspaper man, that's a hard thing to do, right?
Well, there's a lot of stuff in this world.
Yeah.
There is.
Tell me
There
about
is.
that. Yeah.
Well, that's why we have the joy of talking about Cowboys.
Yep.
And it's exciting. It's going on out here. And the first thing I want to ask you guys, because we've got a lot to get into, is this the making of a dangerous Cowboys defense? And I pose that question to my lovely panel here because of what I saw at OTAs. We were all fortunate to see DeMarcus Lawrence get the tag, his attitude toward it. You know, he's talking, I'm not the normal guy here in this situation. We have a fully healthy Jaylon Smith. Byron Jones fully at cornerback. We've talked extensively about what Chris Richard can possibly do with this young secondary.
Like it.
You have the undrafted Cam Kelly making a little bit of a splash there. Sean Lee being smart, taking a second to not just jump into OTAs, saving his body. So that's why I wanted to get you guys to discuss this at least, because I think there's something that all fans are excited about. Is this something you can hold on to?
That's a great discussion point. I like that because I think you can look at certain spots on the defense and say this might be the deepest we've seen under Rod Marinelli. I'm looking at the defensive line and maybe that pass rush rotation and say, wow, you know, if Dorrance Armstrong, 4th-round pick, can develop, Coney Ealy steps in. Rod's always liked a big rotation, but maybe this is a group with Lawrence coming on as a Pro Bowl guy. This might be the best pass rushing group he's had since he came here in 2013, 2014.
2013. Came here with
Came here
Rob
after
Ryan.
After
right?
Rob Ryan.
Right after.
2013.
Yeah. This is going to sound weird, but the rotation. This defense might come down to what do they do? What do they figure out a defensive tackle?
Exactly.
And I saw some good things from Jihad Ward, and I mean this in a positive way of movement, strength, being difficult to block. Again, it's different when you have pads on. He might just go by the wayside, and we get to.
But we're being optimistic
But
here.
yeah, but you know, for a team looking for defensive tackle help, this Jihad Ward trade might pan out for these guys. If you weren't going to do anything with Ryan Switzer, you know, if you had an idea, plans for other things, and you said, we're not going to do anything with Ryan Switzer, we'll just move on from him. But to get Jihad Ward, if in fact he comes in, I would not be surprised if Jihad Ward pushes for starting role here. I really, really wouldn't. I think there's that tight. He's got that kind of ability. I think he's, if you depending on what's happened with Collins and his foot, you're going to see plenty of Jihad Ward. And I'm fascinated by. I didn't seeing him on tape was different for me than seeing him live. and seeing him move around in his size, his physical size, I'm kind of throwing that out there as a guy that might make a difference. One of those trades that might actually work out for this football team.
They need him to make a difference.
Yeah.
Because if you look at that defensive line rotation at
Right.
tackle during that OTA practice, you're sitting there and going, there's no Collins. David Irving's
No David
not out
Irvin,
there,
right. Right.
And you're going and you're looking at the second team guys, and it's Ash and
Brian Price.
and
Yeah.
although they kind of like Price,
Yeah.
They brought him back.
but nothing.
Dayton Jones.
Yeah, Dayton Jones was working with the first team because of all the guys
yeah.
missing, and it's like, I don't know.
But you're counting on Malik coming back healthy.
Well,
you're counting
yes.
on David Irving getting in shape.
Boy, healthy's a kind
Yes,
of
I know.
loosely
That's so. Yeah,
used
we're
word.
counting on it, but you still got to have another defensive tackle to start.
Yeah.
And then we'll see about all these defensive ends. I know there's a lot of optimism out there with these guys, but we got to see. And I think you saying that Jaylon Smith's 100% healthy may be a tad optimistic also. We got to see it when the pads come on, and then how quickly Van Der Esch is able to
I read into
acclimate.
her comment as the no brace, which makes me feel like that at least they feel comfortable enough health-wise that he doesn't need to play with the brace.
Okay, now we'll see how well
Now
he plays
and now
without
to your point is, okay, the thing I noticed, and I'm sorry if I'm shifting away from the defensive line, but I noticed
I think we're talking about the defense in whole.
Okay, with Van Der Esch, I didn't see Van Der Esch in the one time we got to see him play. I didn't see him move from the middle. I didn't see him. He was primarily okay, is it in OTAs, it's real easy to move guys around just to see how they look. Jaylon Smith was the one guy that kind of moved around a little bit. And maybe that's something that we're going to read into when we get to Oxnard, that, okay, they're going to play Jaylon Smith at some other position. Yeah, he could play Mike linebacker. But usually these guys, they'll kind of, the rookie guy, they'll say, okay, let's see if he can play this. Let's see if he can play this. Let's see if he can play this.
Yeah.
And it looked like to me that they were keeping Leighton Van Der Esch as that Mike linebacker. So to the point about Jaylon Smith, if he could play without the brace, give you something as one of the other linebackers, whether it's the Mike, the Sam, wherever he has to play. Yeah, I mean, now your defense is getting better. I don't think he'll ever be as good as he was at Notre Dame, but I think he'll be better than he was last year. I do believe that.
I'm assuming, but I'm just going to ask questions. You guys are all good with Sean Lee just taking this rest.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Save him from himself.
Save him from himself. That's right.
That and I talked to him for a while with some other reporters last
He's still
week.
out there.
He's out there. He says he's feeling good, but that hamstring, they're focused on what they can do stretching wise and just different things they can do to try to keep that thing healthy and long term. Because it has been an issue for him, and it was an issue for him multiple times last year. So, yeah, no reason to push it for him. I think it's a normal routine for him this time of year, but at the same time, they're mindful of that hamstring.
And it's
didn't
almost,
bother him last year.
you know what? It's almost a blessing because they don't need him out there.
Yeah.
Joe Thomas gets to work, and they get
There
to
you
see
go.
what that guy
There you go.
can do
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the weak side because
Yeah.
you still need a backup. And I think when you mentioned Van Der Esch, they kept him at middle linebacker, but I don't know that you want to overload the rookie right away.
Yeah.
And so that
Well,
gives
he looked
him
good
an opportunity.
moving around, though.
Oh, he's.
Yeah, I mean, he
will be. I'll make the prediction right now. He will be on the nickel defense.
Oh no, that's fair. One of his best traits is his ability to coverage.
And I noticed because he can get
Oh, no,
back,
he can.
and then he notices where the ball is.
He's very aware.
and drive on it, not to break it up, but
Yeah.
drive on it to
Right.
make a tackle.
Right.
Playing Mike makes the most sense because they believe he can play Mike or Will. Well, that's Sean Lee's spot. And when you hear team officials talk about who he can be, it's
Brian Urlacher.
It's a Brian Urlacher type.
It's a relatable comparison.
Yeah,
size-wise.
or Rolando McClain, a guy, because you got to have a guy in the middle who can cover, adjust, come up and tackle, cover a lot of ground. And he's able to, you've talked about that. His movement is probably his best trait for his size.
They've targeted him as a guy clearly that has that ability, to, like Mickey said, to play in those sub packages where it's drop, read, react, get to the football. Because he could do all that for a long guy. He's got some ability to turn. Usually with long-legged or limbed players, it takes them time to turn, to get everything going the right direction. With him, it's very quick in the way he gets going. And I think that's one of the traits that they really, really liked about him. You mentioned Joe Thomas again. I appreciate you doing that, though. I think the Will linebacker stuff that he showed some, because he was a middle linebacker with Green Bay, but he's got some of the traits that you see with mobility-wise and things. They use some things with him in the nickel, playing with him and Van Der Esch and as those guys. And I saw some good things with him as far as the read, the reaction, getting to the football, the ability to run. There were some times at Green Bay where you watched him play where he didn't have those kinds of traits. Got caught in some coverage. Carolina game I thought was really good for him as far as some of the coverage things, having to deal with some of their packages out of the backfield. But this might be another one of those gets that the pro guys had a guy in mind, and they said, okay, hey, inexpensive guy, let's go get him. Just some positive things about him early in this camp.
I think from an athletic standpoint, they're better at linebacker with this group.
Yes.
From a depth standpoint, because that was a concern, right?
Huge concern.
Huge concern. Durant couldn't stay healthy, and he was at the end of his career.
Yeah.
And then you really, after that, you didn't have much.
Yeah, we're really not even talking. Yeah, we're not talking
Wilbur.
about. We're not even talking about Damian Wilson, who was a starter, and we're not even talking about Covington yet.
Right.
And
Covington out of Indiana.
Out of Indiana,
Who certainly looks the part.
He sure does. And so
good build.
That's the thing about it is did they help this linebacker crew enough with the guys they've added, and do they going to put guys in the right spot? I think that they have a plan for how they want to play it. Let's hope that all the health holds up. I'm for Sean Lee at training camp. He could stand next to me all day.
Just let him coach.
Yeah,
give him a clipboard.
I really don't need.
He can do a good job of it.
No, seriously, I don't need any wear and tear on Sean Lee. I don't need those practices. As we've seen, those practices can be pretty physical with Garrett and that bunch. And I'm okay with just letting Sean Lee save some wear and tear on his body. I don't think you have to worry about Sean Lee having rust.
I asked him what that conversation is like every year. It was kind of like when Witten was here. It was like the trainers talk to him, the coaches talk to him, and he fights them at first, and then it's like, all right, I get it.
This is better.
Yeah, he feels like he needs to be out. His voice needs to be out there. He needs to be leading from the front, is what he said. But look, it's May. Let's get him ready for August and September.
Well, too. I think September being September being the most important thing.
100 days.
We've seen. Yeah. I mean, it's been documented by our show. And again, you don't need some former scout telling you. You watch the games. He doesn't play. They're not as good on defense. Whatever you can do to let him play the 40, 50, 60 snaps a game, do it. Whatever you have to do, go that route.
See, and I still think there's a question mark at right corner and slot.
Yes, I was going to move back to the secondary.
I'm not just saying Byron Jones is over there and he's got it, and that makes him better.
You're not giving up that fight, are you?
You got questions
I want to see it.
Oh no, I'm
with you.
He needs to prove himself.
Well, there are questions about all this stuff.
I appreciate you saying that, though.
I mean, he's done some good things over there.
Oh, sure.
I've seen his ability to kind of shadow the receiver
a
little bit better, but again, he hasn't played over there. He hasn't done that, but 4 games he started his rookie year. Yeah. So let's see what he can do and how that affects who goes in the slot. Because what if it doesn't work?
Yeah.
Is Anthony Brown out there? Is Jourdan Lewis out there? And
Jourdan Lewis playing left corner right now.
And then who's in the slot?
Yeah.
What do you think is Byron Jones's best trait from what you've seen?
Well, he's got great athletic ability. Mm-hmm. Now, does he have the football acumen to be able to play that corner, the know-how, and I think that's what he's got to prove. Otherwise, he's back to safety.
Yeah.
And then you saying, okay, well, I don't have to worry about my safety depth. Yeah. And I'll go back and I'll go to my grave saying no one ever finished the season and said, we didn't win the Super Bowl because of my safety. Yeah. Give me a break.
Well, the Saints
take care of that the front, and take care of those corners.
Saints lost an NFC divisional game because of the safety play.
Yeah.
Well, just because he didn't make one tackle,
they lost that game.
Did you like the Byron Jones? Yeah, that's true. Did you like the Byron Jones coverage on Deontay Thompson last week in the deep ball down the left sideline? The catch-up speed, breaking it up at the end of the play.
Yes,
that was impressive play. And
it sounds like it impressed you, Rob.
It did. I mean, it showed his he used his size. He used it and used that closing speed because he has great speed. So I think there's potential there. I'm putting trust in Chris Richard, knowing what he needs to fit his scheme. So we'll see what happens. But Brian's talked about it. Look, you got to figure out what he is at some point.
48 games. We're
Please.
trying to figure that out. I think that the trait that might get him in the most trouble is how aggressive he is.
Like biting on stuff?
Well, I not biting, but how physical he plays at the line. Because there were a couple of times last week where the officials threw holding flags on him because he's a jam. Okay, we're at 7 yards. I'm still trying. I thought one time he got called for hands to the face because he was fighting. He was fighting with Michael Gallup down the sidelines, and Gallup was trying to shake him, and he couldn't shake him. And then the referee throws the flag, and now the ball went to the other side of the field, and I'm like, wonder what happened there. And I'm like, I see the official. Oh, he's giving it the defensive holding sign and pointing, towards Byron. And I'm going, okay, this is where Byron Jones could get in trouble. If it turns into he's struggling a little bit with his technique, and now it's like, okay, I'm just going to turn this into a fist fight, And you think of Byron Jones, you don't think of fist fight, but he'll play with some physicality along the line of scrimmage.
I think of Byron Jones, I think physical. I mean, you've seen some of his amazing hits.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you could, but I think that's the one thing. It might be a strength of his, a trait. I like what Mickey was saying, though, about it. And Mickey's absolutely right about questioning, that move because let's see it. I'm usually the okay. Me personally, I am very surprised they moved him. I really, really am. But that just shows you the influence that Chris Richard has on this group now.
It's funny what you said about being overly aggressive. And Chris Richard, what did he say a couple weeks ago about what he likes his bigger corners to do?
Be aggressive.
Disrupt at the line of scrimmage.
And that's Byron Jones can do that.
But you got to harness it and follow your technique, right?
Well, that's the thing about it is.
And they changed, my understanding is the technique they want the corners playing on which hip
to play. Yeah, exactly right.
Playing.
That was astute on your point.
And they thought that he would be more conducive to playing that way than way they used to play it. So, but I think we'll see. That's why I keep saying this training camp's going to be one of the more interesting ones we've covered in quite some time because there's a bunch of stuff where you think it's pretty good, but it's kind of we'll see.
Let me ask you this. Are you going to ask the question?
What do you mean?
The question about the secondary, about the corners.
What if I think the position depth is
to me okay?
If you think it's the best position on the roster?
Yeah. Do you think it's the best? Do you think the cornerbacks as a group is the best position on this roster? Okay. Offensive line.
I was going to say, give me Zack Martin and Connor Williams.
We're looking at defense. We're looking at defense.
Give me Ezekiel Elliott and Ezekiel Elliott.
5 Zekes.
5 Zekes.
I know what you're saying, though. There's a lot of bodies there now, and it's a lot of young talent, right? Moldable talent.
Well, I think what's going to happen is they're going to end up cutting somebody that can make a roster.
Like a Duke Thomas or somebody like that?
Marquez White.
Please don't cut him.
No, I'm not saying cut him,
but
let's not forget him.
No,
we
I
keep
haven't
talking about these rookie free agents.
I haven't forgot him at all because I think he's a perfect fit for what and actually it seems
tall, length.
Yeah, and it kind of feels like that they're kind of pushing him into some roles and taking Jourdan Lewis in another direction. Jourdan Lewis is like, guys, I ain't going away. You might put me on the second team at left corner, and you might put me in the slot, and I'm not going away. So
he's a force.
Yeah, I just kind of feel like the way that they're playing Jourdan Lewis. Jourdan Lewis went from a 14-game starter, basically, to being a guy that all of a sudden now is we're going to move a safety, we're going to play him at right corner, and Jourdan Lewis, you get to play left corner, and you're going to back up, and by the way, Jourdan Lewis, you don't even get to play in the slot with the first unit. Anthony Brown, we're going to put you in the slot.
He's not the prototypical size corner, though, right? I mean,
he might be one of the best players they have.
Now, Richard says he's the exception to the rule because, like Tay said, he's a force. He's physical. Yeah. He'll battle you, even though he's 5'10", 175.
Oh, he did that today with Dalton Schultz. Ball goes up and inside. What does he do? He goes with him.
One of my favorite things I learned last week about the cornerbacks and I guess the DBs in whole, they did a lot of exercises at gymnastics gyms. over the offseason.
Wow.
And that was the first I had heard of it, that every week they were doing different gymnastics training.
Wow.
Double flips on the high
Double
bar?
flips.
Whatever
you know?
it takes to knock the ball away from
Whatever it
Julio
takes.
Jones there in week 6 or whatever.
But I would love to see exactly what they're doing, but apparently they all went together. You know, they're pretty close. All these young DBs, they're very close. So you're talking about the Jourdan Lewis, those guys, they're competitive.
Yeah, the thing, it's funny, Rob brought it up. Byron Jones made a gymnastics move of basically laying out and playing with off hands.
They're gymnasts.
So, yeah. So I think it's, with the exception of the offensive line, who, you know.
We got to talk about Zack Martin.
But as far as the position depth, I think it's a really, really good group. I do. I like what they have with White and with Lewis and with Awuzie, and we'll see. Mickey's right.
They've been aggressive in the offseason to do it.
Yeah, let's see. Mickey's right. I think they're going to put somebody on the street or trade somebody.
I mean, if Anthony Brown could get back to the way he played his freshman year.
I
keep
keep
saying that, rookie year.
I understood when you said it.
I did too. I was like, his freshman year. He's his junior
hanging
now.
around Switzer too much. Over the years.
Yeah.
But if he can get back to doing that, and you got a 5-6 man rotation there
it's
at
interesting.
cornerback.
Yeah, because they felt like a year ago that DB group had reached a ceiling with Claiborne and Church, Wilcox, Scandrick. Now it's these rookie second-year guys, and maybe they make a big jump this year.
They were hard-pressed to find 4 guys a couple years ago to play corner. And you would like to have 5 for sure. And they were hard-pressed to put that 4th one on the roster.
Let me ask you this. Of the 4 guys, real quick, the 4 guys, you got to go to break. Okay, go ahead to break.
No.
Finish.
Ask your question.
Yeah,
tease it.
I was wondering, okay, when you come back, I'm going to ask a question about which one of the 4 guys would you have liked to have kept for this current group? How about that?
That's a great hanger. And when we come back, we have to get to the offense because we've exhausted this defense in a good way. So we will be right back after this.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
What does it mean to be a Dallas Cowboys fan? It means you've got the passion and the heart to do your part supporting the boys no matter what. That's why when the game's on the line, you're on your feet, whether you're at home or in the stands. Actually, you're more than a fan. You are a member of Cowboys Nation, and so is AT&T, doing their part to keep you connected to America's team all season long. AT&T is a proud member of Cowboys Nation.
Oh, I am craving a Dr. Pepper. I got some soda. I asked not for soda. I asked for ice-cold, craveable Dr. Pepper. Its flavor is more one-of-a-kind than a four-toed sloth with a thirst for speed. So stop settling for soda and start demanding Dr. Pepper. I love sloths. When you crave a Dr. Pepper, nothing else will do. Grab an ice-cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper today. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
To work this big land, you need equipment with values rooted as deep in Texas soil as you are. Like John Deere compact tractors with a 6-year powertrain warranty and big features that help you work less so you have more time to do what you love. John Deere was first in the Texas fields, and we're proud to be on the field as the official ag and turf equipment of the Dallas Cowboys. Find Texas-sized deals at myjohndeerdealer.com/football. Terms, conditions, exclusions, and warranty limitations apply. See dealer for details.
This is Talkin Cowboys.
Tommy John gives you that feeling of freedom where it counts. With over 3 million pairs sold, we've put in the hustle to make sure you're nestled. Shop exclusively Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
Better have them tomorrow. It's going to be hot.
Yes, we were just talking about the weather out here. Of course, we have the indoor at Ford Center, but I think they're going to stay outside, at least for tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to get warm out there. All right, so Brian asked a question before we get to the offense because I want to talk about Zack Martin, Terrance Williams. We have to, Tavon Austin. So before we get there,
I just was curious if there was anybody of the corners that you would have liked to have had back for this current group, or none at all. Are you comfortable with what the way it is, the way you like the group? I mean, could Mo Claiborne been a factor the way they're now playing Brandon Carr, or like I said, none of these guys.
I'm okay.
Or they did the right thing.
I'm okay with this corner group. For me, as far as DBs go, I mentioned it last week. Barry Church, when he was here, was a stabilizing presence at safety.
Yeah.
But I think we mentioned the number of guys they've got at corner, young guys. I think Awuzie is poised to take a step this year if he can stay healthy. I like what they've done at corner.
So they made the right move then. To everybody out there, it was kind of like it was the gnashing of teeth. That, okay, well, oh, God, they're getting rid of all these guys. You can't play with young corners, da-da-da-da-da. So that was a good move by the front office.
I think from a financial standpoint also.
Sure.
Because I'm with you on maybe Claiborne, but he got a little bit of money from the Jets, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He got some good money.
And you're sitting there going, well, I'd like to see him to have that healthy speed there, but he couldn't stay healthy. As for the rest of it, it's too bad that these guys didn't stay healthy last year, because I think you would have seen the takeover at a greater pace than what we did.
Well, this is a good segue, because obviously those guys, they've left, and it happens every year, and a large part of it is due to contracts. And now we're here with Zack Martin. Everyone thought that contract would get figured out a little bit sooner, but things happen. Time has passed. We are close to June, and Zack Martin still doesn't have his long-term deal. We all expect it to happen, but until then, he's here working out. He's just not participating in OTAs.
Right.
And in the meantime...
You just got to get it done.
You just got to get it done.
I think that, to me, this is one of those deals where, and guys, correct me if I'm wrong here, but this is just my thought about it. It's a position that we've seen we've seen the position go up through the years. I mean, the last couple of years, people have stepped up to pay their guards as much as tackle has always been a position you paid. Wide receiver has been a position you paid. Cornerback's been a position you paid. Quarterback's a position you paid. I think this is new to teams. I think this is new to teams that having to pay
that much for
a guard. And it's not that they don't want to do it, but I think they're in a situation where they're thinking, okay, what is the right amount? What's too high? What's too low? I think you're always comfortable with the other positions I mentioned: the tackles, the quarterbacks, the cornerbacks. I think your team's front offices are comfortable with those positions. Guard's a little bit different cat, and you don't want to shortchange an all-pro player. And of course, he's going to sit there and say, you know what, I'm one of the better players you're on your team. I deserve just as much money as this guy or this guy or this guy. So I think that's why the Cowboys are having a little bit of a problem right now. It's not something that they don't want to do or they're trying to hold it up, but they're trying to figure out what exactly the market is for an all-pro guard to make sure that he's compensated like the all-pro that he is.
Yeah, I wonder if the guy is it Norvell in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
I wonder how much maybe he reset things because...
See, that's one of those things that you...
Who?
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
my point.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, now all of a sudden I think he's the highest paid guard now,
Yeah.
and Zack Martin's a 4-time Pro Bowl All-Pro guy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think probably what they're trying to do, because this is not about this year or next year, it's down the road.
Absolutely.
And I bet what they're trying to do is guarantee him more money and the total package, it's less. It's like, you're going to get this.
Right.
Now, give us a break on what it's going to cost you in 3 years when I'm paying a quarterback and I got to make a decision on Zeke. At some point, I've got to pay a wide receiver. You know, this little thing ain't going to last for long.
Receivers by committee.
Well, not only receiver by committee, but they're, Alan Hurns, 2-year deal. And he's not making that much money.
Well, you drafted Michael Gallup.
Yeah, and
he might turn out to be something really good for you.
Well, and in 3 or 4 years, you're going to have to pay him, right?
Yeah,
if he does. Yeah. So you got to watch how you budget your salary cap money. It's not their money; it's the salary cap money. I'm sure they'd love to pay, Zack Martin all, whatever. But you got to watch how you budget down the road. You got to next year. You got to figure out what if Lawrence has another Pro Bowl season? What are you going to do with him?
Yeah.
It's a long-term deal for him too now. So they got to be careful. And I think you're right about guard. You're sitting there going, oh, God, it's a guard.
Yeah.
The best one in the league,
best
right?
player on your team. Man.
Right. But
See, that's what I don't think people have a real handle on that. The example about the kid that got signed to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's not having a handle on.
And they had so much money.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, no.
Money to throw.
They did, because they were like $70 million under the cap, so they could spend, and it's like, okay, well, the well's never going to run dry.
We may be a little spoiled too, because we've seen Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, even Lyle Collins last year get done early, like with 2 years left on their deal. I think we all kind of thought, oh, Zach will get done last summer.
Well, it depends.
It's going to get done, I think, but it's taken longer than we thought.
It depends what they're asking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of fans have a lot of questions, and you guys are the experts here. So everyone has heard about what's happened to Terrance Williams. He was not out there last week, not only because of what's going on, mainly because of his foot and the rehab there, and we all expected he wouldn't be out there.
Well, he didn't practice.
Right.
Didn't practice.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
He was out there.
That's what when I'm saying out there, I'm mainly meaning that they're on the field participating.
Right.
Okay.
Terrance Williams, does he have one foot out the door? What's going to happen with this? I hate to ask that and put anyone's job on the line, but we're just...
Well, he put it on the line. You're not.
That's true, Mickey. You're right. You're right. And so there's just a lot of speculation of his future on this team, and kind of getting your guys' thoughts and understanding of it.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen
Legally.
Yeah, we know that the NFL can take action against a player even if he's not charged. I mean, we saw that with Zeke, or if it's not a serious matter. We're talking about misdemeanors here, I believe, with what we've seen in the reports, with police reports with Terrance and the public intoxication.
Class C misdemeanor.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this receiver group's got to shake itself out a little bit before you start talking about moving on from him. I still think you've got to see some guys emerge. And I'm talking about Allen Hurns, and I'm talking about Michael Gallup. And you know what you have in Terrance, and he's a guy that's played with Dak. He hasn't been a high production guy, but he has helped you in certain games. He's helped you in the running game. I wouldn't jump there yet. But obviously, they've brought in a lot of competition, and it certainly would help him to be on the field competing.
Well, unfortunately, he's hurt, so he's in double jeopardy. Not only the legal thing hanging over, but he's recovering from surgery to repair a fractured fifth metatarsal. So he wouldn't be out there, and the idea was not to have him out there till training camp, but he didn't do himself any favors. Now, again, it may come down to what the league does, because if the league wants to punish him, then the guarantee of his base salary this year, $3.5 million, disappears.
Right.
And then it's like, oh, well, it's not going to cost us that much to absorb the rest of his prorated signing bonus. So at this point, everybody's waving their liberal flag. Oh, get rid of the guy. We don't need him. Well, it would cost you $3.5 million because he's already on the books for a guaranteed salary. So you have to be careful, and you would like to write it out and have one person here on the field that actually played a lot last year. Even though he didn't have any touchdowns, he still had 53 catches. You just eliminated 132 catches from your team with Witten and Dez. Yeah. Now add 53 to that.
It would just be Beasley. He'd be the only guy left over, I think, right? That's Noah Brown.
And look at it as it is right now. Beasley is the only guy on this team that's caught more than 64 catches in a season.
Hurns. 1 year in Jacksonville.
64. Yeah. I said more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24 times in the league, and I think at the last 3 years we've had situations where players have conduct detrimental policy, whatever you want to say. Mm-hmm. Only 4 times have the player been released. So that means 20 other players with the similar type of things that have happened to Terrance Williams still stayed on the team. So I don't think they're going to get rid.
Just don't
right
get in
away,
a
though.
hurry.
I mean, you look at somebody like DeMontre Moore and what followed him from Seattle.
But players in this situation, 20 of the 24 were brought back. Only 4 times has a team cut a player like this. You've all made great points. It's catches, it's experience, it's familiarity with the player.
Right.
Yeah. What happened last year at this time, if you remember as well, with Damian Wilson and his thing with a gun in a parking lot over a dispute and all that. Damian Wilson was still here. There's things that they will tolerate. And I think this is a situation where he made a mistake, and he's going to pay for it, not only having to get his car fixed, but he's also going to pay for it, a little bit personally, with himself. I mean, he's got to live with that now, but I think the team keeps him around. I don't see them getting rid of him. I see them getting him healthy, getting him back on the field, and then let him compete, as Rob says, and let them shake this receiver thing out.
It's going to be interesting.
That might be the position right there when we talk about the strength of a team. That one might be the weakness of this team.
When it's unproven.
When it's all said and done.
We just don't need to be so righteous right off the bat before you even know. I mean, we've heard 3 different stories on what's
the worst
happened.
thing that happened is him and his agent should have made a statement.
Right.
Once all that the video came out, that was very embarrassing.
Hurts you.
Yeah, that's something they can't take back. Oh, I didn't do this. Wait. What are you flipping over the front of your bike here? What are you doing there? You didn't talk about that, did you? So that's
it's a messy one.
Yeah, this is something that needs to be worked out. I mean, he was very polite to the police officer. The police officer very polite to him. I mean, you could see all those things handled the right way, but they didn't need to make a statement. They just did not need to make that statement.
And we got to point this out. He's a guy they've never had a problem with off the field. So, it's like you said, it's a mistake. Unfortunate.
Except for running 40-yard dashes in the parking lot at 3 in the morning. What? You remember that one?
Nope.
That one was another one.
That's another one.
Let me tell you what, Mickey.
In the crazy season.
Let me tell you what. There was a bar in Dallas that somebody bet me I couldn't hit a 5-iron over a parking lot over a building, and I did it. And sometimes you do 40-yard. Sometimes you do 40-yard dashes in the.
You get challenged.
You get challenged, and sometimes you do it.
So, like in training camp at the old Cedar Door in Austin, when we were hitting 7-ironers from the gravel parking lot, hitting 7-irons into the power plant.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was bet I couldn't hit it over a building.
We got it over the fence. Yeah. I don't know how far it went.
Reel it back in. All right. Talking about speed, though, Tavon Austin, of course, everyone's curious of what he's going to end up really being. You have this hybrid receiver running back out there, and he calls himself, he said, I'm just a playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he is.
True.
He's just here to make plays. So hopefully he'll make some for you, Mick.
He can run
quickly.
He's very quick, and I think it gives him a dangerous person for punt returns. And I raised the prospect of returning kickoffs with him, and he goes, well, I really haven't done that much.
Right.
And I said, yeah, but just like that, he goes, I'm sure my name's going to come up. And all I can think of is with the new kickoff return rules,
if
somebody actually kicks it to him and you got all that open field, I probably shouldn't have said it to Jason the other day, and I said, yeah, sort of like the Kansas City game at the end of the half when you get
you brought up the Hail Mary?
Mickey.
No, it was a dump off that ended up a Hail Mary, right? But no, just think of a fast guy like that in the middle of the field when you don't have a lot of people around him, and now it's almost a video game.
And there's no running start anymore.
There's no running start. Yeah. You can't drop your guys back to block. You got to stay in that area. So there's a lot of space if you got a speedy, shifty guy.
I think
there's seven new kickoff rules that will impact the 2018 season.
If they're trying to prevent collisions, I think they've done a bad job with this rule. I think special teams coaches are going to figure this out about sky kicking, pooch kicking. They don't have extra blockers in the back. Now all you have to do is put fast guys up front on your cover team. You just play balance. But if you win that initial block where you have the stationary blockers in that area, now you're running to the football. They don't have enough guys to block you back there, wedge. So all of a sudden you're going to see people dumping the football. There's going to be more collisions in this game. People trying to stop them from bringing the ball out past the 25
Yeah, you're going to do
line.
one of two things because the two guys, you only can have 3 back there, right?
That's right.
So 2 of them aren't going to be linebackers or defensive linemen that can block.
Right.
It's going to have to be somebody that catches the ball.
That's absolutely right.
And if you only can have 1 guy back, then how wide's the field?
Yeah.
Exactly. And you're going to start hitting the ball to the 10-yard line on the sides.
There's going to be more squib kicks. There's going to be more pooch kicks. There's going to be more trying to be disruptive with the football. They're going to get the total opposite of safety here. There's going to be a ton of collisions, directional kicking, try and get guys pinned into a corner, get them on the tackle them on the 10, 12-yard line, and let them start from there. This is a bad rule.
You think that instead of just trying to go for more touchbacks?
Absolutely.
Because you can pin them deep like a punt.
There's going to be more collisions.
Or you just don't get to the ball.
Yeah.
Tell you, and if it is about safety, right? Because NFL owners, the report is owners were told concussions are 5 times as likely to occur on kickoff returns. So, but it's a collision game.
But if you're if you're on the kickoff team, you don't get a run up anymore, right? You got to be 1 yard.
But
from
all you have to do is,
ball.
and they're not allowed the drop. So the way it is, so you're going to have a lot of collisions
up front, which is going to create about 40 yards of space, right?
Absolutely. And who's keeping somebody from dumping the ball and letting it just bounce around down there? And again, putting defensive backs on your kickoff team, guys that can run, guys that can avoid, guys that can make the play, that can cover the kick.
I think Jason said it best in the press conference when he said, when you make rules like this, there's always unintended consequences.
Oh yeah, get ready.
Did you think it all the way through? Because these coaches are going to figure out how to take advantage of it.
They are figuring it out right now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, if you guys haven't figured out, you have to go and vote for our Twitter poll. Mickey voted. Brian voted. So we will have the rest of the answers coming up right after our final break here.
Cowboys fans know that the second best of anything simply won't cut it, and your skincare should be no different. A longtime locker room favorite of the players and the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Dallas-based Jack Black is the #1 best-selling men's skincare brand in the country because we make products that help guys look, smell, and feel better. Visit getjackblack.com/cowboys to get $10 off your first order of $50 or more. Jack Black. Look good, smell good, feel good. Official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
What does it mean to be a Dallas Cowboys fan? It means you've got the passion and the heart to do your part supporting the boys no matter what. That's why when the game's on the line, you're on your feet, whether you're at home or in the stands. Actually, you're more than a fan. You are a member of Cowboys Nation, and so is AT&T, doing their part to keep you connected to America's team all season long. AT&T is a proud member of Cowboys Nation.
This is Talkin Cowboys.
Don't forget about Papa John's Pizza. They got a great deal going for $12.99. You get a large pizza, a side of bread, and a 2-liter bottle of whatever soda you want.
Hopefully Pepsi.
Not bad, and it is Pepsi, by the way.
There we go.
Pepsi products.
And when you add in the ingredients they put on that pizza with the veggies and the pepperoni, boy, that $12.99 deal is a good one.
Goes a long way.
Papa John's.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can order it while you're watching the finals, the NHL finals, the NBA finals.
The no basketball league? What? No basket league.
Okay.
No making of baskets.
God.
For one side.
I was embarrassed.
2 old men going at it here.
Brian's telling me basketball's over. It's finished.
It's ended here.
About the game.
Even the Cleveland-Boston game was awful.
Okay.
Just awful.
All right.
LeBron James.
Yeah, we still got him.
All right, well, we got into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Cowboy fan LeBron James.
Yeah. He is a Cowboys fan. We got and Chris Paul is too. So
how many shots did how many shots did
you don't want to get to this Twitter poll, do you? You just don't want to.
How many shots did Harden put up last night? Like 29? 7 for 29 or something ridiculous?
I don't know. We already got into it a little bit, the receivers, but your poll falls along those lines.
Yeah.
And Mickey hinted at the fact that he twisted up the percentages. So
that's right.
I'm going to make a guess. After you read it, I'm going to guess who Mickey chose.
Please do. Okay. Simple poll, Brian. Which new wide receiver of these new wide receivers will have the biggest impact in 2018? I've got Tavon Austin as a receiver here because he's going to at least do, in my opinion, he's probably going to do most of that.
Why not?
Allen Hurns, Michael Gallup, or Deontay Thompson.
Okay, Mickey, before I make your guess, did you at least choose somebody that was on this?
Yes, I did.
Names? Okay.
There was no write-in available.
Okay, so
no.
I couldn't vote for Marchie.
He loves his Marchie and Mickey.
Marchie and Mickey
bond.
show.
I want to say that Mickey wrote Deontay Thompson, that you voted for him.
I did not.
Did you vote for Gallup?
I did not.
Okay, well then I'm out.
Well, you're not skewing it that much.
I played the percentages of who's going to get the best chance, and it's going to be Allen Hurns.
Oh, so you went with the obvious one. See, I thought he was going to go with the Deontay Thompson, run up, flash on him.
Bryce Butler 2.0 kind of a guy.
Yes.
Yeah. Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Hurns.
You did?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't make the biggest impact, they're in trouble.
Well, I just need him to be as good as Dez Bryant was last year. That's all I need. Was it 65 catches?
69.
69 catches. How many yards do we have? What was Dez Bryant?
Almost 900.
Yeah.
800.
How many touchdowns do we have?
6.
Okay. Give me that.
In total agreement, I went with Allen Hurns as well.
The fans agree. Yeah. Why?
Well, I would just have to say, he kind of has nothing to lose here. I mean, granted, you have to be this number one wide receiver, but no one's thinking of him as a Dez Bryant type guy yet.
Right.
So
numbers would be nice though. The Dez Bryant numbers.
Would be great, and he wore 88 at Jacksonville, so there's hopefully some similarities there. But I feel like he's in the perfect position to have a breakout year.
It's great opportunity for sure, and they're not asking him to be dominant necessarily. That'd be great, but just be reliable for Dak Prescott.
How close were Thompson and Gallup?
Well, Hurns won 45%. Yeah. Thompson only got 3% of the vote.
Okay, the folks don't know him yet.
Michael Gallup was second, 37%.
Sure.
Austin, 15%. I wonder how much of that is, is he going to be a quasi running back?
Yes.
He will do some of those things. They're going to move him. He's going to be a chess piece, right?
Yes. So very similar. I believe you'll see a very similar. The way they used him in Los Angeles was as a running back. They used him as a slot player to throw the ball to. A lot of his stuff is not down the field. A lot of his stuff is around the line of scrimmage. It's the jet sweeps. It's the sweeps. It's the straight handoffs. It's one back runs. It's screens. That's the kind of player that he is, and I see them doing the same thing with him here. So
don't make any judgments on what they do in the first week of OTAs, like, he's only playing wide receiver.
Right.
Let the guy settle in, get used to the offense, and then you'll start seeing them moving them around.
And they may not show us everything they want to do with him.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I think, though, the one, if they can get Gallup, though, to the learning curve with Gallup to be very small, to get him out there. I mean, he's got the quickness, athletic ability to avoid the jams. He can make plays down the field. I was talking to some guys. I'm like, you turn around every once in a while and you'll see the ball going down the field to 13 and like Mike White throwing it. The guy's got the ability to adjust, to extend, those types of things that you want. He could be the one surprise that if things don't really work out for Allen Hurns, now it's about, let's get him going. But if the learning curve is very, very small, he might give Allen Hurns a run. So 37% of the people there might be absolutely right about the situation. Yeah.
He was my second choice.
Yeah.
And I just thinking, is he going to get the opportunity? The rookies usually take a little time to get going, but he could have a huge impact.
Well,
and so this occurred to me. From a percentage standpoint, what do we see more of? 4 wide or 2 tight ends?
I think you'll see more. I think that the 3 wides is there, or you said 4 wide.
I said 4.
Yeah, they tend to run the ball. They can run the ball out of 11 personnel pretty well. Spread people out, and they're probably going to have to do it
with their tight ends.
Well, they're going to have to do it just maybe if the receivers don't have success. They're still probably going to have to get in 11 personnel just to make people spread out. Like if you could say, okay, we'll play everybody a little wider and give themselves some space and keep people from walking guys down into the box. I mean, it's going to be tough for them. They've run the football against 8 and 9-man boxes before.
But don't you think that's going to, if you're a defensive coordinator right now?
I am not scared.
Who are you worried about?
I am not scared of any one of your receivers.
I'm worried about Zeke.
I'm scared about Cole Beasley, and I am scared of Zeke.
Okay, Zeke, we got to talk about him because something came out about him last week that I was pleasantly surprised to hear about. He has
Nobel Prize?
Not close. Not close, but he's getting there. He is on the Leadership Council.
That man won the Nobel Prize.
He's on the Leadership Council. That's a step in the right direction to that Nobel Peace Prize. But he is on the Leadership Council, and he says, big step of that is that he wants to be more vocal this year. He wants to step up as one of the younger veterans on this team. I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that because I think that a large part of his identity on this team has been, it's Zeke.
He's been on the party planning committee.
Moving more to the Leadership Council.
Yeah, there you go. He goes from social director to actual director.
We'll see how well he does on that console after July 16th.
Why do you say that?
Why?
Because then he's on his own for a month.
June 16th.
June 14th.
June 16th. I said
June
July.
14th is their last.
That July 16th, too.
Well, that's the weekend, right?
We got the 4th of July coming up for Zeke, too.
Yeah.
That's what I thought you were going with. Yeah,
No,
the
June,
lake trips.
June
Brian's
16th.
relentless.
I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, and look, he's one of the best players on this team. It's important for your best players to be leaders because you got to have, we talked about this, you got to have the production to be able to be vocal. I mean, you got to back it up on the field. So he definitely does that.
Well, if I'm Ezekiel Elliott, I'm looking at how it affected the entire season, what a pain it was the entire season, what a taxing experience it was, probably not worth it at all. And then the fact of the matter is just look at what he lost. He lost money. Right. He lost respect from coaches and teammates. He lost a lot.
I don't know if he lost respect, but he lost guaranteed money.
Yeah, I'll go with the money, and I think everybody was.
When I say respect, I mean reliability more.
No.
It was hard every week in and out.
Yeah, I think they. This is going to sound really strange and probably bad. I think they knew who Ezekiel Elliott was.
When they drafted him, last year?
Yeah, absolutely, when they drafted him. I think that there's no secret to what was going on at Ohio State with that group. Now, again, it's nice to see him say, okay, I have to be more accountable for what's going on. That was a very difficult year, not only for Ezekiel Elliott financially, but it was a difficult year for his teammates. And if you're any kind of a teammate, you would feel bad about the situation, that he wasn't there for them for 6 games. Yeah. Him playing in games, he basically came out and said, they asked him about, what was he, 53rd on the top 100 player list? He goes, I missed 6 games, almost have 1,000 yards. Yeah. Well, no, I'm just, but I'm just saying though, I think I like if there was some remorse about how it went down last year, and the reward for him now from the coaches is, okay, listen, we do trust you. We think you can be a leader. We think you can be a difference maker. I think this is his way of bringing him back in. He was a little bit on the outside last year. And, but everybody loves Zeke. I don't know anybody that doesn't love Zeke.
Yeah, his teammates love him. And I will say one way he does lead is on the field. Physical, he's going to bring it every single time he's out there. I think guys follow that physical tone, and that's important, So that's another way to lead. You don't always have to be the vocal guy, but obviously taking care of your off-the-field business, every leader, if you're going to be a leader on a team, everybody has to do that. No question.
Well, and he's so lucky. The draft class he came in, they're a good class. You look at guys like Jaylon Smith. You have to follow his lead of just everything he's done just to get back onto the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is Dak's team. This is Zeke's team now. There is no Jason Witten anymore. So the best young players on this team have to have a larger role in the locker room. And that includes Zeke for sure.
That includes Zeke. That includes the Zack Martins. That includes the Byron Jones.
Yeah. It's all of a sudden this team is very, very young. It's really incredible. I've been meaning I need to go back and see where it ranks in
just
the NFL,
an
the average age, because it's a lot of second and third years guys.
But is it young in experience?
Well, now your starting quarterback has started a lot of games in the league now for being 24 years old. That's good. But
you shook your head, yes.
Well, yeah, they're young, but these guys have played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dak, he's played 32 games.
Zeke's played, Dak's played.
Zeke's played what, 16 and 10?
Yeah.
That's 26
Lyle
games.
Collins has played. You look at now.
Wouzier, once he got healthy, for a rookie, he played. Xavier Woods played.
Browns played. They've all played. With some spots, you're going to have some guys that haven't. Of course, if the starting Mike linebacker happens to be Van Der Esch.
Right.
But if whoever they play at Sam linebacker, whether it's Jaylon Smith or Wilson's played a lot for a young guy.
And the offensive line's played.
Yeah.
Now, if Connor Williams wins the job, okay, fine.
I think he is.
But at least the backup tackle now has played.
In the Super Bowl.
So your depth there is much better off than what you, I guess, projected you had, which didn't work out so well.
The one position I keep going back to is this receiving group. That's the one I think we're going to have to figure out.
Well,
I think we're going to have to say
something you haven't had to worry about in a while.
Yeah, who are the best 5? I mean, I'm not saying right now we have to just throw out 5 names, but I think when we get to Oxnard and it's show 15, it's show 18, it's show we're down to it. We're going, okay, what do we learn about this receiving crew?
Did you have trouble ranking them last week?
I put Cole Beasley at number 1.
I did too.
Well, you look at where we were this
time
last year.
Check that on DallasCowboys.com, by the way.
Yeah, it's on there.
I remember there being a discussion about what they were going to do at receiver. They had so many. I mean, Andy Jones was a name that you're like, does he stay on? At this point last year, Lucky Whitehead was still on the team.
Deep.
Young guys were not going to make this roster. The whole thing with Noah Brown. Noah Brown was a
Bryce Butler, what he was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, there was a kind of a group of guys that you're like, okay, we've got the 4. Who's the 5th one? Or who's the 6th one? And now you're kind of like, okay, we've got 2 or 3. Who are the other 3?
Yeah.
You
don't have to count Austin in that group necessarily.
Right.
You can, but who else?
Can Lance Lenore break through?
See, that's the guy I always talk about. That's my Lance Lenore, because of Will McClay's relationship with him. Is like, I'd like to see him do something.
Development.
There might be a surprise guy that we don't think about like that. The Lance Lenore guy that comes in and is like, what Cedric Wilson. I mean, I'm not giving Cedric. I mean, I'm kind of poo-pooing Cedric Wilson right now.
I know, and he's got
a lot of ability, and so. Okay, do you carry 5 wide receivers? Wait a minute, we're carrying 3 quarterbacks now. Well, how many tight ends are we going to carry? Wait, you got to carry Rico? No, we're not going to carry Rico. We're carrying 3 tight ends. You kind of get into a numbers game with some of these positions, and I'm not necessarily thinking it might be that whoever doesn't make this team probably made it because they just weren't good enough. It wasn't because,
which is a great problem to have.
Well, you want them to be good. But you want to be able to say, man, we had a really tough decision. We got 7 receivers for 5 positions. Instead of, okay, we've got 7 receivers and we're only going to take these 4. And by the way, who was on the waiver wire today? Yeah. Who can we trade for? Is there somebody?
Free agents.
Yeah. Who do we need to work out?
Yeah.
And beware of Earl if he can play like he did in the season opener against Missouri.
Yeah.
Malik Earl.
Yeah.
I can't believe I sat there at the TV just cussing. 89-yard touchdown on 3rd and 24.
Welcome to Missouri football.
Man, what a hanger. Well, if you guys didn't realize you had just joined us for an hour of Talkin Cowboys, we will be back next week. Final OTAs week, and then we get into mini camp. So join us in our last few episodes before training camp.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?